I've seen many people, many couples who agree in every area except their finances. That doesn't make sense to me at all. It doesn't make sense to me because if God said you are one and he didn't make any distinction, you are not one only in bed, you are not one doing things, going out and doing things together. It's all inclusive. Young women or a lot of women, sometimes they will say they have their specs. They want a man who has already made it. That is few and far between. You need to be able to see beyond that.
Proverbs where one woman is a helper. But I think with the men also, we have to learn to appreciate them and accept the help. You know, the thing is, like you come from a background where you think you know everything. But if you humble yourself and say, look, this woman has certain strengths, God gave her to me as a helper. So I have to accept. When you accept a help God has given you, you are accepting God's will for you.
A woman who submits to her husband, you win your husband's heart. And he will do anything and everything for you.
God and King, in you, oh Lord, I find my peace and joy. So no one can do for me.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Live Unpack podcast with
Dr. George Adebinta
and Kwabena Boateng. Today we have a special guest. Yes, we have a special guest. So today we are talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. Last time we did Proverbs 31 man, so we are doing the woman today, and we have no other than the wife of Doctor. I'm going to let Doctor do the introduction today.
This is my wife, Pastor Julia Adebinta. She's retired now.
Yeah.
Mother of my 3 children. Amen. And we are very close. We do a lot of stuff together. Even though in ministry you may not see her in the forefront, she's in the background pushing a lot of buttons, organizing things. People know her as a very, very good organizer. You know, can put things together and so on. And she's very good also at mentoring young people. What she's done is that what she does in the church, she forms teams and they work, and many young people have been blessed by her ministry and are doing very well because of her. And I think she's here to give us the woman's perspective on Proverbs 31.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll be chipping in here to here and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, welcome, Auntie.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today we are going. Last time we spoke about Proverbs 31 man, and Doctor gave us insights. It was amazing. How Proverbs 31 was meant for a guy. So today we are talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. A lot of people say they know Proverbs 31 woman, or sometimes when you go on Instagram or you go on social media, they say I'm the Proverbs 31 woman. But you see them and some of their mannerism doesn't show Proverbs 31. So today we are going to have an insight on Proverbs 31 woman. We are going to let Auntie or Pastor Julia tell us about Proverbs 31 woman. If you hear me call Auntie, please forgive me. I'm exceptional. So. Yeah, so Auntie, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. The last time when we shot a video, someone said your type is they no longer exist.
I'm sure there are a lot of them around.
Yeah.
A lot of them around.
Yeah. So we bring a lot of young ones to you so that you can train them to be like your type. Okay. So Auntie, can you tell us about Proverbs 31 woman from a woman's perspective?
Okay. From my perspective, the Proverbs 31 woman is just like the Bible said in Genesis. She's a helper. So if you see your role as a helper, in what ways do you help? You help for the person you're helping to achieve whatever their goals are. So if you see that as your role, if the person is going in a certain direction, you help them to get there. So it can be financial, home, in any way. Okay, so, and there's no way the person can achieve their goal if you don't agree. Just like the Bible said. Can two work together unless they agree? So if he wants to go here and he said, no, I also want to go here, you'll never get there. It's going to be chaotic and confusion. You'll never achieve anything. And if you're going to agree, I've seen many people, many couples who agree in every area except their finances. That doesn't make sense to me at all. It doesn't make sense to me because if God said you are one and he didn't make any distinction, you are not one only in bed, you are not one doing things, going out and doing things together. It's all inclusive. So if you are one, then your minds, you think alike, you brainstorm, you come to some agreement and you move forward. You may not agree on everything, but you have to understand that we need to agree to do something together in order to achieve our goal. So the financial aspect, it doesn't make sense to me that we go our separate ways. No. And there are many reasons why. Because what one can achieve, two can achieve more, more than double.
Yeah.
Because if you have to buy something for $100, you have $50. I have $50. It's going to take me longer to get 100. It's going to take him longer. But if we put it together, we can get it sooner.
Wow.
And if it's investment, then it means it's going to yield more and faster, grow faster. And we benefit. We benefit. Our children benefit. So that's how come it doesn't make sense to me to be one in every area except in our finances. So the Proverbs 31 woman for me plays a very key role by supporting the person who is in their life, God has put in their life, which is your husband. You support him. And I've seen in my own experience, like I said the other time, he brings very good ideas. He's a visionary. And when he shares some of the ideas, they wow me. Oh,
too much.
Wow, too much. Where did this come from? But it takes somebody to pick it up and put it into action. And that's why I come in. Yes. He brings the idea. Once I buy into it, I pick it up and I do whatever I need to do to make it happen. So in summary, I would say the Proverbs 31 woman is the support person. And it's not a small role. It's a very key role. Because if you don't agree to support the person and you create confusion, and it's going to affect him. He will not progress. And if he doesn't progress, it's also going to affect you and your household. So I think God didn't make a mistake in making you a helper and putting you in that role. So that's how I see the Proverbs 31 woman.
Wow. That's a very beautiful insight, because sometimes you hear these things, but it takes a lot to go to become a Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrifices.
Yes, a lot of sacrifices. It takes a lot of sacrifices. There are a lot of things that, I've seen young women, or a lot of women, sometimes they will say they have their specs. They want a man who has already made it. That is few and far between. You need to be able to see beyond that, the now, to be able to work together. Okay, if it's easy for the person to get what you want, okay, excuse me to say, why don't you have it? If it's that easy, right? So we have to work together, make the sacrifices that we need to make, and see where your strengths are and contribute. I take on the role of organizing, paying attention to the small details. I go into the weeds and do all the little stuff. When the children were growing up, I have an idea of even sewing.
Wow.
Basics. I will sew their pajamas. I will sew their simple outfits, alterations and things like that. I do all those things. There are things, so if we do all those things, that means then we'll have more to save than to spend. Right? Yeah. So anything I can do besides doing the regular 9 to 5 to support the family, I'll do it.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. At a point in our former church, I used to introduce the women to bulk buying.
Wow.
Buying in bulk. We bought I have 2 freezers. It's not because I have the money to spend, but it makes more sense to do that, to buy in bulk and to save, it helps. It's cheaper when you buy in bulk. Yeah. So it's something that I've been doing for many, 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 many years when the children were very small.
Wow.
Yeah. So, those are some of the things that ideas and things that if you have the skill, please bring it. Bring them and use them to benefit the family.
You have something to add?
Yeah, what she's saying is true. And when she's talking about the cooking in bulk and all that, all through my life before I got married, I never realized that you plan food ahead of time. The first time I lived alone, when I was away from my mom's house, is when I did national service in Ghana. And there were 3 of us guys living in the flat, national service men. And lunchtime before we think, what are we going to cook to eat? So it was very funny. We get there to the kitchen and we are fighting because everybody is hungry. We go to the market and we are fighting, because everybody is hungry and angry, Then when I got home, I told my son, no, you have to think of these things ahead. And for me, it was very strange. But when she came in, I thought she'd be planning menu. I'm like, geez, what is this? But later on, I caught up and saw what she was doing, Because the same buying in bulk, not just buying in bulk, but she also cooks a lot on the weekend. Then she packages them and puts them in the freezer.
Wow.
So whenever time you come from work, it's not that she's coming to cook,
Yeah.
And one thing I didn't know also, she like a mixed stew basis. And then she just put different things in it. So the same stew you are eating it, but it's different things. All those things for me were like, geez, So I remember I'm seeing how my mother was doing it. It's a women's thing. But guys will never get that. That a woman, you can't figure it out. Yes.
Because we have a very busy life, children, school, ministry, and all that. So on my free days, sometimes I don't even know what to cook, but I can just do the basic base, the tomato and onion base, and just portion it, label them, and put them in the freezer. So if I want to make spinach, I grab it. If I want to make beans, and sometimes I'll cook the real dish too, and we label them. So my daughter and I, we know that when we need some, we just go into the freezer, and you see the date will also prompt you to which ones to use first.
Wow.
And because if you just put things in the freezer without labeling them, after a while you can't identify which is which. So we put the label, the dish, and the date on them to identify
This kind of stuff I would never understand it. It's like no amount of anointing can help you with that.
So sometimes you can go a week, 2 weeks without cooking, but you still have food.
Wow.
Because the demand is great on our time. It's very, very great.
And it goes down back to the fact that she started by saying that Proverbs one woman is a helper. But I think we the men also, we have to learn to appreciate them and accept the help. The thing is, like you come from a background where you think you know everything, but if you humble yourself and say, look, this woman has certain strengths, God gave her to me as a helper. So I have to accept. When you accept a help God has given you, you are accepting God's will for you, and it makes a lot of difference. So I always tell guys that please come down from your high horse and allow somebody to teach you. And those of us as men who think that we are so big, a woman can't tell us what to do. All of us, we influence our mothers.
Yes.
Your mother will spank you on your butt and do all kinds of things. And everything you do, they help you. So why can't you, do the same thing with your wife? And for me, it's very helpful. Because a lot of things now, I couldn't have figured them out.
For instance, paying late fee or bouncing a check is foreign to me. It's foreign to me. I don't remember the last time. Even paying interest on credit card interest is foreign to me. I have to devise a strategy to play their game back to them and win. Okay? So if I use the credit card, I know the dates, what I bought. Because when you are swiping, because I heard somebody saying when you are parting with cash, you feel it. So you are careful. But when you're swiping the card, it's very easy. You don't feel it, but it adds up. So I play their game to them. I make sure I record it, so I know how much I have spent. When the bill comes, I pay it off. So that's zero interest, right? And also some of the cards, when you use them, you get cash back or whatever, that benefit. So I accumulate that. So if my card, all my cards have billing dates, BD/DD on them.
Wow.
Meaning I know the dates they are going to bill and when the payment is due. And I'm trying to bring him along.
I'm still learning.
He's still learning. He's getting
But
there.
I asked. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So if I know what the due date is, if it's approaching, I won't use it.
I hope you get it, right?
You get it?
Not too complicated. Right.
Okay.
So for example, you go
today
to
is
a number
17th.
of credit cards. If one of them, the billing period closes tomorrow.
Right.
If you use it today, tomorrow
You're
is
billed.
due 30 days from tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if, for example, the billing date is 20 days from now, that gives you more time. 20 days plus another 30 days.
Right.
So she kind of, I never thought of it, but she has all the credit cards organized that way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I know when to use which one.
Wow.
So by the time the bill comes, and I've already budgeted to pay
for
it
it,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just pay it off.
Wow. And this is the part you guys need to clip it because everybody to cut this part and learn.
Let me confess something to you. At some point in our lives, we had two accounts, these two different banks, and I think she was handling more of them because every time she buys something, she write it down, balancing the checkbook. In the time I worked in finance,
Wow.
He's a
I
finance person.
couldn't do that because maybe at work I was working with very big numbers. I mean, I was with one company, and for example, I was working in the budgeting area, but our revenue was $100 million a month. So if I take for $20 to me, it's like nothing. Then I leave it. So I said, no, I'm the man. I must have one checkbook. You have one checkbook. You have one checkbook. But we don't want to have the same, for the same account.
Yeah.
So we don't, if I was managing one, she was managing one. Always, my checks were bounced. It's not the money is not there, but I don't time my things right. They see never. So far, I came and said, look, forget it. Please, take both and let me stay out of it. Because it's like, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I need something, I just write it. Then when it comes, oh, I should have thought about this. And those things are funny. And let me tell you another funny story too. Those days when we used to pay bills by mail,
Yeah.
when you write the checks and mail them, she would prepare envelopes with everything, dates on them. One time she was traveling to Ghana, so she labeled everything for me. Said these bills will be due when I'm gone. And these are the days you should put them in the mail, put the checks and put them. I said, fine, I'll put them down. I was there when I found that one of them I charged as late fees. I want to look, oh my goodness, I'd forgotten.
Wow.
So I called the credit card, said, please, I beg you, my marriage is not there. Because she did everything for me to get this, and I forgot. So please, I beg you. Then he said, hold on, I said, okay, you've never been late before, so I'll wait. She laughed at me, So even with my background, it's an idea of the detail oriented, and women tend to be that way.
Wow.
Women tend to more averse, they don't like risk. So she's more conscious of those things.
Yeah.
And men, a lot of things we don't care because we are, so at least so we should allow them to help us. Of course, there are some women, if you give it to them, they'll go and shop. So I'm not saying that always the women are better. So women need to just agree that I'm going to stay away from this because of the temptation. But by the grace of God, she's not that way. So.
So there's something that's been really going on. It's like a lot of when people hear submission, it's like a turn off for them. And it's been going on. It's like, now we can't be submissive. Why are we slaves and all? So, Auntie, I want you to elaborate on submission for young people to take from there.
Okay, so I always approach it from the point of view of the Word of God. And I know God doesn't make mistakes, right? So if His Word is asking me to submit, and everything He tells us to do is our own benefit, then I know there's something good in it for me. Sometimes it may not feel comfortable, but if you obey and you do it, it comes with a reward. A woman who submits to her husband, you win your husband's heart. And he will do anything and everything for you.
Wow.
Right? So why would I resist and fight? Like I said, sometimes it's not comfortable, it's not easy. But if you learn to let go, you find that you become, how do I say it? You become strong by being through obedience. You win the power that you want, you are looking for, rather than fighting it the other way and creating confusion and chaos and always disagreements and fights, and you lose the love that He has for you, right? So if you learn to submit, God will honor His word in your life. And the man will come to love you more, respect you, and appreciate you. And thereby, bringing peace in your marriage and your home and your family. Yeah. So I don't have any problem with submitting. But as human beings, sometimes there are things he doesn't want me to do. I don't like it. I don't like them, but I do it because that is the word of God. And I've seen the example and I've seen the benefits. So I will encourage every woman not to look at it negatively that God is punishing you. No. God wants you to be a strong woman and to be able to be happy to get what you want through obedience and through submitting. So it doesn't make you any less of a woman. No.
I'm glad you spoke about it, because I think sometimes too it's people's experience, because sometimes I talk to people, right, and they're like, yeah, my mom was very submissive, but my dad was taking advantage of her. So in those cases, how should they go about? Because it's like, yes, their mom are submissive, their parents, maybe their dad will go and cheat and all of that, and they'll still stay. Sometimes they endure a lot of pain in their marriage. So what would you talk to, what would you tell them to let go of some of these things, experiences?
In those situations, there's a dysfunction and there's abuse. I'll call it abuse. It's not submissive. Because if you're a man, if you love your wife, you will not cheat on her, you will not abuse her, you know. So that's a dysfunction, and I will encourage that they seek help. Sometimes professional help, or from the church leadership, from a source where you can get real help. Because God is not asking you to submit when the man is not playing his role. He also has a role to love you sacrificially, which is not a small thing, right? To take the bullet for you. So then something is wrong in that picture. And when anybody is in that situation, I will encourage them to seek help. Counseling, counseling from the church or professional help, whichever one is appropriate.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Uncle, you've been married for over 40 years, right? What are some of the things that made you like, wow, because I know as time is going, the love is growing more. So what are some of the things, can you tell the young people some of the things that made you fall in love more with your wife as time goes on after all these years? Because I've known you all my life and I haven't seen the two of you together.
Yes.
How did you say some of the young girls or the young guys will know what to look out for when they're looking for a spouse?
Okay. Okay, so you want me to talk about looking for a spouse?
Yes.
I think the important thing is to look for the right things, the right qualities. I think the mistake we make sometimes when we focus on the wrong things. Certain things can change. Looks can change. If you look at money, for example, money can go. So I tell people that initially the attraction tends to be physical, what you see and all that. But you test it with time during the dating period, and you go beyond that to see the person's heart and character. Okay, and when you see the character, because the personality, the attitude, that's what you are going to live with most of your life. So, and that is what it's really going to, So after all the attractions and all those things, and you make the decision, then it becomes a commitment. Because I've committed to this person, I'm going to, love them. So it's a decision you make, and you must be intentional about it. For example, our relationship, our closeness didn't just happen. It's because of certain steps we took. We felt that we're committed to this. It's biblical. And this is how the Bible tells me to love her. This is how it tells her also to submit to me. And I'm focusing on doing my part. She's focused on doing her part. But before that, I knew myself, and I knew what I wanted in a spouse. So after we got into a relationship, then I began to see certain things. I said, wow, this is what I really want. And then that's where this relationship became very solid. But within the marriage also, I think the mistake some people make is that after we get married, then we stop that intentional act of creating the atmosphere of love. The relationship, like we say, oh, now we are married, so you have your life, I have my life. We never did it that way. We learned to do things together. And just this week I was counseling a couple. I asked them, do you realize that every day, for example, we never drive to church in separate cars. We have 2 cars.
Yeah.
But because the time in the car, when our children were growing up as children, the children suck the air out of your life. They wake you up in the morning, they put you to sleep. So the time in the car became our alone time. You know, because those days we get up in the morning, we send them off to school, we get in the car. I used to work, I think I was work at different places. But time of riding from home to the metro station became like our alone time. So we valued that time.
Yeah.
So we've kept that thing up till now. You know, we value the time. If, for example, we took the children on vacation, we took time off to go out alone. And also, even living with them here, you know, when you are young, you have children, you know, you're experiencing it. All the children's movies that come out, you go and watch them. You know, all the children's cartoons. We used to take time off to do things ourselves, like go off, watch a movie, go to dinner, and so on. We had a restaurant where it was our restaurant. We never took the children there. We went there alone. It was our special time alone. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we were very intentional about it because you need to create a strong relationship. So when COVID came, I hear some couples couldn't stay alone in the house. Look, in the end, your children will go.
Yeah.
So it's going to be just the two. And now they are all gone.
Yeah.
You all have your lives, but we're alone. But because we built our marriage like that, and we didn't build around the children or around, you know, something, we have a life of our own.
Yeah.
And the children know it. You know, so it starts with the attraction, but make sure you are attracted to the right things.
The right things, yeah.
And then after that, it becomes a commitment. I'm going to choose to, you know, be with this person. I'm going to choose to spend my time, with them together. One time we had this thing, we had a meeting, I think couples meeting. I don't know if you were there, but one of the ladies were saying we need to have alone time and go and I was so, you know, it became an argument because I said, what are you talking about? I chose to marry this person. So why do I want to hang out with guys instead of go on vacation with my friends? Are you kidding me? You know, why? Because my being with her is not exhausting for me.
Yeah.
It's a choice I make to be with her. I chose her, you know. And when my friends, I got married and she came out first, some of them are complaining, and now you're acting like you are better than her because you are married. I said, Charlie, if I wanted to live with you, I would have married you. I chose to marry somebody, Charlie, so find your way and go and find your own wife. And, you know, it's a choice you make in your head. That I'd rather be with her than with. And by those days, we used to meet Sunday afternoon to watch football, one of our friends' houses. Then she came. Then they called me, leave her and come and let's watch. I said, I'm not coming. Yeah. You know, I'm going to watch football in my house. If you want to watch my house, come. You know, but I'm not going to leave her alone at home to come watch football with you. So, for me, it's a deliberate thing, and we're intentional about it. We work hard on it so that we will be close together.
Wow. Thank you so much for the insight. So I'm going to go off a bit, right, Auntie? Okay. This question is for you. So a lot of women feel like sometimes in women being helpers, right? They help the men, and when the man becomes successful, they leave them. For instance, sometimes they fly. If let's say they are here and they marry someone from Ghana, the guy comes, they become successful, and they leave them. Sometimes they put every effort in the guy to make sure the guy becomes successful. And when the guy becomes successful, he goes for slave queens and all of that. So what would you advise these women? Because some of these women, they are very bitter. And it's created insecurities for the rest of their life. Some young ladies, they saw how their dad treated their mom because of this. So what would you tell these women?
It's not supposed to be that way, right? And every situation is unique. And as much as you support your husband to achieve his goals, I think you shouldn't neglect your own too. You also need to build your independence in terms of, okay, even if they don't cheat on you, something happens to them and they cannot work anymore. Are you going to be able to stand on your own? So it's essential that both of you build your lives where you are both self-sufficient without the other person. I think it's very practical, it's real, because things happen, and we know in our parents' lives, most of the time our fathers are the breadwinners, our moms just stay home and take care of the house. When the man is not there, their lives decline suddenly, and the children suffer. I saw that in my own mom's life, and I determined that it will not happen to me. So right when I was young, back in Ghana, when I was working, I was saving a lot. And I was doing business on the side. And even at that young age, at 23, I still have my commercial bank savings passbook here. I went to Ghana, I wanted to collect the money. They told me the valuation has eaten all the money. I even had life insurance at age 23 when I was working. Because I was determined that I'll be self-sufficient with or without a man, right? And it's not in competition.
Yeah.
Okay? But we need to understand that without the two, one should be able to sustain the family. Okay? So if the man is for real and is not selfish, he needs to be able to buy into this to help you to also, better your life. Yeah, so financially and everything. So unfortunately, our parents went through that, our moms did that. Some men are also doing that. But I will advise the women that as much education as they can get, they should try and do it. So that in case of any eventuality, even if the man is not cheating on you, but life happens. Yeah. Something can happen to the man. He can be sick where he's bedridden and he cannot work anymore. What do? Yeah. The money is not going to come. So you also have to be conscious of those things and build your future as though something can happen. Because nobody knows. So rather than waiting for life to happen to you, I think we have to be very proactive, real, have the discussion, have a plan. If unfortunately the man doesn't go along and he says he doesn't want you to go to school or learn something, that one is a problem. I think we have to find help. Yeah, somebody who can get through to him to see the reality of life. Yeah.
Let me add something to that. That is reality of life, because if you look at scripture says it, that the heart of man is especially wicked. Who can, So human beings, because of our sinful nature, it's bound to happen in life. But I think that if somebody, you see, in marriage relationships, there are two people. You do your part, let that person do their part. If they choose to be unfaithful, maybe when it happens to them, the biggest mistake they make is that they allow what has happened to them to determine their future or their destiny. But my thinking is that if, for example, you worked hard enough, you brought a man, and you helped him because he left you, you have the potential to rebuild your life. Yeah. So instead of focusing on trying to worrying about that person, and every time you are thinking, and no, forget about that person and move on and rebuild your life. I hope you get me. Yes. And so it's bad, and it can happen to anybody. It can happen to a man who work hard and go and bring a woman, and the woman would, and it can happen to a woman also. But when it happens, you just, cut loose, cut your losses, and try to rebuild your life. And don't ever say that because it happened to you, you're not going to trust anybody else. Because maybe the next person around the corner is better. Rebuild your life. I mean, it happened to Joseph. That his brothers came and he accepted them. And there are many people in scripture that it happened to. Even Jesus himself, he chose 12 and one betrayed him. So if you choose a spouse, one and one betrays you, so Jesus Christ, I hope it's what I'm saying. But Jesus never stopped after that. He went to the cross, he resurrected, and he charged the disciples, go out. Pentecost came.
Wow.
So even though Judas may have betrayed you, Pentecost will still come.
Amen.
One betrays you, there are 11 there who are faithful. Amen. And that's my attitude to these things. Don't let it. For example, I've been in business before where I feel as if though my partners did not treat me well. But after it had all happened, in fact, I left everything for them. And I remember talking to a pastor who told me I should have sued them. I said, look, the time I'm going to spend to take them to court and to sue them, I'm going to use it to rather find a new job and rebuild my life. I called people who I've been in the business with before that, hey, I'm now available, I want to come back. I actually went back to school to learn how to prepare a resume, how to interview. I've been looking for a job for a long time.
Wow.
And by the grace of God, the job I found after that, it was as if though I never took a pay cut.
Wow.
And every day I was praying. This scripture, which was about, I will restore the years like the years have eaten. The locusts have eaten. And I told God, please restore me, restore me, restore me. I told my wife I erred by doing it. I admitted it to her. that I shouldn't have gone into the business, but I did it because he told me not to, and I did. Wow. I confessed to God also, I asked God to forgive me. I accepted my fault, and I got on track. And I'm telling you, if I look at my career, before then it was going like this. Yeah. After that event, I was going like this. Wow. So, sometimes recovery can recover better than it was before it happened to you. Wow. So what I tell people, when these things happen, please focus on rebuilding your life. And I've seen many testimonies. Wow.
Thank you so much for this insight. It's so mind blowing because sometimes you hear these things, but hearing it from this angle, it makes it be like, wow, it's very, very true. When Auntie was saying that some men wouldn't want their women to go to school and all of that, I was looking at Uncle because
yes. Yeah.
We know a couple, but God being so good, she recovered and everything. Yeah. So
I know a young lady who years ago, she's not young now, who was trying to go to school. Every time she says she stayed at the library, her husband would come and see them be looking at her. And she said because of that she couldn't stay. So you have to talk to the man. And I talked to him. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Pastor, I really want her to fail because if this woman finishes, she's just earning money. That's going to be my end." I said, "How?" I'm serious. I said, "How?" And they have so many problems. The case went to court finally. At that time, the wife was doing at the LPN, okay? And so that's why he was really fighting her. And then when the case, after many years, they divorced, the case went to court. Then the woman called was telling me, when they went to court, and the lawyer was asking her, he said she was an RN. The guy shouted profanity in the court. Like, what? How? He got so angry that after all, when the woman left him, she didn't fail. She has succeeded. And she's gone from LPN now. She was trying to fight the LPN now. She's an RN. Yeah. And he was so angry, And my point to her was that, succeed in spite of him. Because sometimes people try to bring you down. When you succeed, that's the worst punishment you can give them. So somebody breaks your heart. Somebody, go ahead and succeed in spite of them. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. This is so deep. I please you guys click using this. This one that's booking your heart. Just cut this part. This is motivation.
And this is more of a, I guess it could be a question or maybe like an add-on. So on my way here, a friend of mine that's also a chef. So she was trying to be a vendor at one of my events that I'm doing, but we were talking and then the conversation kind of. We started talking about how it's hard for women to respect men when they make more than them. Right? And she's saying, "Oh, Randy, I can't date any man because I make $110,000 right now, and I can't date any man that makes less than me." But I'm like, you in your mind, you think value is always financial.
Financial, yeah.
Value don't always have to be financial. Maybe the man is making $70,000, but this is a good man, right? Right. Makes you feel good, motivates you, whatever it is, But then he's like, well, I don't know, Randy. It's kind of hard because the man will feel. Men feel like, when a woman is making more than them, they feel insecure. Not every man is insecure. No. So anyway, but do you have anything to kind of add to that? We just had the conversation on my way
here. Well, you chime in on that.
Oh, okay. I mean, not every man is insecure, and like you talk about the value, it's not always the check that comes in your hand. Maybe when you get that money, the ideas he will give you will take you farther than how you are going to spend that money. Unfortunately, a lot of my sisters, they wear the money on themselves. $5,000. I mean, the person is already a billionaire. Why should I give the money to him, making him richer instead of creating it for myself? Right? That's why I believe I have to build it and defer it to when I can afford to buy it and not feel a pinch and still have the money working for me. I have to secure that first before I make the billionaire richer. you know. But unfortunately, so if you have a man in your life, they're going to tell you, no, don't spend that money. Let's invest it in a house. Let's do it this way. If you're on your own, maybe that 110,000 that you're making, in 10 years, you cannot account for it. But if you are with a man who has his head on his shoulders, and within 5 years, he can take you farther than what you believe you can do on your own. So I don't think any man should feel insecure, and I don't think the ladies should just judge them on face value until they know who they are. They can see beyond what they are making, what they have in their hand right now, because some of them come with high value. When I met my husband, he was in school, right? I was working, but I saw beyond that. A lot of the ladies would say, he's not driving a flashy car, he doesn't come in this car. I don't care. I was focused on building my life and being in his company, and be a simple person. And some of the things, the things he used to say gave me that comfort that this man can lead me. Those were the things that are important to me, and true to that, God has brought us this far. So ladies, please don't look at the face value, those cars and things. Maybe the car, it doesn't even belong to him. And in this country, most of the cars are on loan anyway. Yeah, so that doesn't define. It belongs to Chase. So that is not wealth or anything. So please, let's take our time and look deeper to things that have value and meaningful to our lives. Things that can build our future. Right now, I'm not working since 2022, right? Yeah. That was when I retired. I can go anywhere. I can buy anything I want. It's because we sacrificed, we were consistent and regular in building our future, financial stability, foundation. So we are okay now. Even if we don't work anymore, I've retired, but yeah, we are okay. Yeah. And it's not because we're making a lot, but putting a plan to what you make. Put a plan to it. And yeah.
So today I have a special guest here. I'm not going to show her face because I'll have a say here, but I'll put her so to ask any question.
By the way, that's Pablo's mom. That's my baby sister.
The real Auntie Mama.
We'll show her face today. If she has any questions, please throw the question. No question. Okay, no question.
You put her on the spot.
I put her on the spot. Before we wrap up, do you have anything to add? I think we need to have a part 2. We need to do one with people to ask questions.
Yes.
A panel. Yes. Maybe that will be the next. The next discussion. So please prepare because I can't enjoy this alone. Sometimes you all have to be here and you see everything. So we will plan for that.
I might bring my friend that made that comment.
Bring her. Bring her because the virtuous woman, for instance, she considers what she has before she makes her decisions. One example I'll use is wedding preparation. The amount of money we put into it. Ladies, you take this expensive hall, pay $100 per head, everybody will come and enjoy and go home. And you're saddled with a bill. Cut your coat according to your cloth. I had a very simple wedding. I'm here. 42 years, we are still going.
Wow.
Nobody knows how much I spend, right? But we didn't have a loan. We didn't use a loan. We spent what we had. The important thing is putting the marriage into God's hands and building it on a solid foundation, which is Jesus Christ. That's the most important thing that we need. Yeah. So.
Don't you have anything to add?
Let me comment a little bit on the part of the woman making more than the man and all those things. But those years I said I left to go into business. In fact, there were times when things were so bad, she was basically the one bringing in all the money because I wasn't bringing anything in. And yet still, You know, in fact, the big part of it was that when we were going through that problem with the business, I still believe I have to pay a tithe. So sometimes the company would just decide to pay my mortgage for me because that was the most important bill I had, and they will pay for it. But when they paid my mortgage, I'll take money from her paycheck to go and pay a tithe on it.
Wow.
Even though my partners would tell me I don't have to pay a tithe because it's not like an income. It's really like they're paying my bills. And I said, no, in this mess that I'm in, it's only God who can take me out.
Wow.
So I'm not going to start robbing him.
Wow.
So they'll pay my mortgage, and I'll take money from her paycheck to go and pay a tithe on the mortgage.
Wow.
You know, and I know it wasn't easy because we had a family. Our family was very young, but by the grace of God, because we understood certain principles, we stuck with it. Yes, and I had to make sure that I didn't show any insecurities. You know, and for the men who are insecure, I mean, my mom was taking care of me almost all my life. You know, so why is it that when that woman does it for me? You know, because I knew that we were going through a stage, and a time will come when I will also be in a position, and we understand it as we not understand. So that insecurity thing, I don't know where it's coming from with our men. Man, we need to seek deliverance from it because, yeah, I think on Mother's Day, one of the ladies, was it Mother's Day also in church, we said that the men should buy them cars. And I said, we'll buy it for you, but one condition, that if we buy it, we will be chauffeur you also. And when I drop you at work, that luxury car, I'll take it and drive. Who knows the difference anyway? You know, yes. Okay. That's what I want to add. Let security have no place. Yeah. You know, yes. It should have no place in our marriages.
Wow. Thank you so much. And thank you, Auntie, for joining us today. This is still today, but I'll come and stay here again for that one episode. But thank you guys so much for sharing your insights. Yes. And please, young ladies, I hope you're listening. Yeah, no, young ladies and young men, I hope you're watching and taking this serious. If you have any questions, please feel free, DM us on Instagram, on YouTube, and under our comments and everything, and we'll definitely come and answer your questions. So please watch, like, and subscribe to the Life Unpack podcast with Dr. George and Kwabena Boateng. Have a good day. Bye-bye.